All right, everybody. This is Coach Shane Miller from CrossFit 819. Today on the show, Shop Talk 819, we've got Coach Bader Masri, who's going to be joining us in. And there he is. So welcome, Coach Bader Masri.
Hi, man.
Be Wise Wolf. I love it.
That's it.
So, how you doing, my man?
Great. Thanks for having me. And you guys are lucky. My wife decided to cut my hair because up until like 2 days ago, I was the Afro version of myself. So that's good stuff. Well,
I'm wearing the hat because, you know, I usually have short hair. And, well, you know, the sneak preview, it's like just this, I don't know. We'll keep the hat on. And I like to tell people, I'm like, yeah, this is just about a week. But I think it's about 65 days now. So
about a week after the first 3 months. Yep, we know.
Oh gosh. So listen, we're going to be on here for 15 20 minutes depending. We could be shorter, we could be a little bit longer. Just depends on how everything goes. But the gist of what we're going to be doing is just finding, we're going to talk a little bit about where you come from, your background, how you got into CrossFit, what your role is at CrossFit 819. I know it's changed in the last couple of years. And then we'll talk also a little bit about the whole COVID-19 situation, about how it's affected you personally, professionally, and I mean, of course, with your background as a pharmacist, you might have some insights into some things. And I know you can't share it because you're not working that way. You can't make a recommendation, but I know you can share your personal opinion.
Sure.
And then you can just if there's anything you'd want to tell anybody, we'll go into that and put your contact info up on the screen. So why don't you talk a little bit about who you are and where you come from?
Well, I came to Canada July 1st, 2018. And this is the first time I'm gonna do this retrospectively, not from the beginning. So before that, right away, for 4 years, I was in Saudi Arabia. The last 2 years, in these 4 years, I co-founded the first CrossFit gym in an area as big as, let's say, Montreal. It was the eastern zone of Saudi Arabia, and we were the first to enter the market. It was called CrossFit Wise Wolf, and this is why Wise Wolf is a very dear name to me. And this is in hindsight, a little bit of note for people who don't know. The farewell video that I made for the gym was actually my ticket to get noticed by you and to actually get the job to be a full-time coach. And I was admin at the time, first thing when I came into Canada, which is to be honest, I'm very grateful for. I'll be forever grateful for, and it's a blessing because when an immigrant comes to Canada, we all have that difficulty and a hump just to prove that we are here to, that we have skills and we are here to contribute. Not a lot of people get going right away, so that was a blessing, and CrossFit 819 was an instant family to me. Before that, I was doing sales. I did sales and marketing for medical devices, surgical equipments and whatnot, and pharmaceutical industry. Because in 2009, I graduated from pharmacy school in Lebanon. So grosso modo, I have around 8 years of sales experience in the medical field. And now I would say 4 years of coaching CrossFit, and I got my level 2 CrossFit trainer certification. And just now, which is something that we're going to talk about, how this pandemic affected me, I actually finished my precision nutrition course, and I got a little bit of certification on the side. I got you try to make the best out of your situation, and I had the chance to sharpen up my skills with coaching in one-to-one. I dusted off some information I learned in the past about anatomy and physiology, the mindset of an athlete, how to coach people who've never trained in a gym, and how to coach people who have been training for a couple of years, and how to approach serious athletes. And to be honest, in the last 2 years, especially when I came to CrossFit 819, when we ran this 6-week challenge for people who are really intimidated by the gym, like ambiance, they don't, they see it from the outside and they see all these ripped guys and people doing muscle ups and chimpanzee stuff over the bars, and they're like, this is not for me. we wanted to find a way to get them through the door and explain to them that it's simple. Everyone can do anything and everything, but each person at their level. So this is like in a nutshell.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, and that video that you mentioned. So just so everybody knows, I have told this before, but I'll mention it again. Batter filmed this video. It was like a goodbye video, and you know, there's a lot of people who might let their emotions get more of them, and let tears flood down, and they cry and everything. And Batter did not let that happen, but he was fighting it so hard. But it was not something that was apparent, but I could just tell. And anyone who gets that choked up over leaving their members is somebody who has a personality and passion and a lot of love. And those are the things that you can't train someone to have. You can't coach somebody how to have a personality. You can't coach them how to have passion. Like, this is in terms of the owner of a gym looking for coaches, and Batter has passion coming out of everywhere. And he's got crazy personality. So, I mean, he was a natural fit. Just so happened too, his coaching skills are.
Lucky for me.
That's right. So it was great. So we hopped on a phone call, and it just seemed the personality on the phone was great. And then he came down and he met with me, and in person he presented himself really well. He had those good social graces, which is important. And so everything seemed to work out perfectly. So we did it, and it's been a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved with CrossFit? Oh, you know what? My power cord on my computer here is dying. I don't know what's wrong with it. I actually have to go get another power cord. I'm going to be right back.
No problem. We didn't see that coming, so we probably had some music in the background for you guys, but just you can imagine some, airport music in the background. I know everyone wants to go on a trip somewhere, so just imagine that.
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, can you tell us how you got into CrossFit? What made CrossFit be the thing that you're like, this is it, man?
It was so up until I was like 20 years of age. I was second year of pharmacy. I was always a chubby kid, and I don't want people to judge my parents or blame them for that. They were always trying to set me up on the right track up until today. There's always trying to tell us what to eat and eat the good stuff. But I was that kid who just I would eat the good stuff in front of my parents and then go back to school and munch on chips. So I'm guilty. And I always had a big appetite. So I would, instead of having just a small bowl of fruit, I've been known in my family to eat the whole. Like, they would get 2 watermelons. I would have one, and they would have one. So, so I always had problems with portions and controlling my appetite, which is now and during last month, I really enjoyed learning and reading about behavioral changes. And I think in behavioral changes comes in all sorts of paths in life, whether you're trying to sell something, to market something, to run a business, to create a tribe or a community, to convince someone to change their ways, and like speaking about the issue of nutrition, to change your approach to food. Food is not the enemy, and more you should really be at peace with food, never feel negative about food, and know it's all about choosing the right things for longevity. So at that time, 20 years of age, second year of pharmacy, I was like 235 pounds. And for those who are a little bit knowledgeable about body forms, I'm a mesomorph. So when I gain weight, I would go like this. So I was just like a round shaped human. And I started to really love public speaking at school. This is eventually why I graduated from pharmacy and went to sales, because I love influencing people, and I love sharing knowledge and trying to share whatever I have with people around me to get them to elevate people around me, because they always say you're as good as the people around you. That being said, one morning I woke up and I'm like, this has to stop, so I need to change my ways. I thought it was very simple stuff, even though at the time I did some mistakes because at some point I was under eating. Maybe I trained too much because I didn't have the knowledge. But I lost in 1 year. I think I went from 235 all the way to 179. But doing running, basketball, swimming, that kind of stuff, unstructured, just here and there. I was just doing very simple swap, like eating a salad bowl instead of snacks in the evening, and just eating more protein, just randomly. But then I met some friends at the gym, and I was fortunate to. Some of them are mentors for me right now in business. But they were kind of, it goes hand in hand when you're like someone who's really in control of your professional life, that you want to be in control of your health and in your personal life. So people like a shout out to him, Omar Rifi, who's one of my mentors. He's now in the States. He ran a couple of pharma industry companies as a CEO, and he used to do these crazy HIIT workouts. And he inspired me to actually be certified in things because I wanted to be able to talk to you and give you advice coming back from a background of someone who knows what he's talking about. And I guess being a pharmacist goes hand in hand with that, because I need to give you the scientific data, because you should do this because it has been proven in this and that study that it works. And this is how I just started to getting certifications here and there. CrossFit specifically. I was in Saudi Arabia, and one of my friends at the office, he works now for a Cleveland clinic. Shout out to you, Isam Sayed. He was like, there's this sport, and you're doing HIIT kind of crazy things, but it's called CrossFit, and there's this guy called Fronin. He does all these crazy things with weights. And then he runs, and then he jumps, and he turns around on that bar. He does that thing called muscle ups. It took me like 2 years to get my first bar muscle up. This goes live. So I was like, cool. We started to get these shoes and gadgets, and we were like, okay, so we've done a lot of bodybuilding. How come we can't do even one overhead squat? And I have a video of my first overhead squat. It looks literally like a Looney Tune cartoon. It was like this. And I still have it. It's somewhere on my Instagram. And then, just like I said, I like to know what I'm doing. So I started to read online. There was a certification in Dubai, jumped from Saudi to Dubai, took the level 1, and the rest is history. I met my very good friend, Awad Bawazir, who's the main founder and owner of CrossFit Wise Wolf, and he said, at the time I was just finishing my MBA, he said, listen, you have your level 1 and you have the business mind, so let's just co-found this. At first, it was just me trying to co-found the place, but it ended up with me actually being the head coach and trying to manage social media, and I got my level 2, and this is how it all just, it's part of my life. And now even if I do other things, I know like lately I've gotten back to medical sales here in Canada, but I'm always in touch with the community with 819. I try to fill in with one-to-one coaching hours, or if Cedric wants to train for the games or someone is missing, I always love to fill in, and I'm always in touch with the community. So it's going to be always a part of my life. I want to be able to run after my grandchildren. And when they ask me how you're still fit, I will tell them because I was doing CrossFit for all that time. Nice.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's a great story. We're so happy that it worked out, because we have it's like right now the gym is still surviving through all this because of a couple things, okay? And it's because the relationship that all of our coaches have created with our members. The members want the gym. The gym is, the physical gym is just one thing. And yes, the physical gym has bills to pay and stuff, but it's the relationship that all of you guys created with the members that makes them say, hey, you know what, we're going to still help the gym to survive, so that on the other side of it, we can go back and still be one-on-one with all these great people, these coaches and everything. So, my heartfelt thanks to you and of course to all the coaches, because if it wasn't for you guys, there would not be a CrossFit 819. So, you know, I'm super thankful for that. Now, I wanted to just, obviously, we're in this weird situation because of this crazy disease that people are getting called COVID-19. I wanted to know, like, how's it affected you personally, and then, of course, professionally?
Like, the problem with the general situation when it comes to pharmaceutical sales, let's say, it's very volatile when it comes to patents and whatnot, and jobs. Many times in the cycles of companies, they have layoffs. This is like in a normal situation. So with COVID, it put a lot of pressure on companies, because even if you may get laid off or you may get furloughed. And for those who don't know what furloughing is, you're not laid off, but you're at home and you're not getting paid, because our job is just literally, it's a face-to-face kind of interaction daily. You have to do 7 to 10 visits with doctors and explain to them your products and whatnot. It's very interesting to me because from a business point of view, it kind of shifted the way we interact with healthcare professionals, because now we are trying to implement what we call the CME, the multi-channel engagement, MCE. So people are getting in touch with professionals just like you and I now via the web, Zoom, WebEx, and all these platforms of video conferences and whatnot, email, sometimes phone calls, but eventually you're kind of handicapped because you're not doing things the way you do. So simply, I was at home. It's been like, I don't know, it's how many days? It's like 64 days now?
Like that, yeah.
Kind of that, yeah. And obviously the gym was, the gym is closed, so there's no coaching. I was happy to do some Zoom classes where people really loved it, and I enjoyed getting in touch with people at home, giving them options to do. People, if you only have one dumbbell, if you don't have a bar, if you have no equipment at all, that was really nice. But I think the most challenging part for people is to adjust to the new norm. And, what do we have in a normal day outside of COVID and outside of confinement? We have routines and we have schedules. Mm-hmm. So after a week, after, you get slapped in the face and I'm like, choop, choop, and now you're home, you had nothing to do. So I needed to create schedules, and I need to follow these routines, okay? So I need to, because the biggest mistake that people would do, and they would stay late, wake up late, and then just, if you're productive, you would say, I have to do 1, 2, and 3, but they're not within time constraints. I don't care when I finish them. And eventually they fall into the trap of, if they're working like for an office, they would literally be working all day long instead of actually finishing tasks and jobs with limited times. So I tried to, just like I said, I tried to finish my PN certification. Every day there was an hour for that. I had 1 hour of meditation. I enjoyed to do it with my wife. That was good stuff, connecting with the family. And I had 1 hour of learning something new. I took advantage of learning through Udemy or LinkedIn Learning about, stuff that's related to my job and stuff that I haven't used yet, but it's, it's the new big thing, like social media marketing and SEOs and, virtual communication. This is stuff that you're like, it's there and it's going to be the future, but we never knew that it's just going to be forced upon us. And COVID just changed a lot of things.
Well, I want to just make a point. I just want to interrupt you for a second.
Yeah.
You said this is the new normal. I'm really hoping that this is the new temporary normal, because I think if people continue past this with like this fear of people, I think that's like the downfall of society. That's when all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, government protect us, and that's not.
Oh
good.
no! Oh yeah. Sure. I like that part specifically. It really bugs me. Like even when I go out and I buy my stuff from Costco, I feel like it's very stressful for me because you feel like people are afraid of you and you want to be afraid of people, which is not normal for us. Like we used to be really, we are social animals. We want to be around people. But what I mean about the new normal is, like, I just yesterday Shopify announced that up until 2021, all of their employees will be working from home, and they are ramping this up to move all of their operations from home.
Right.
They're ditching offices. So this really changed the way we do business, you know, and it's interesting to see how this unveils, and because now companies will save on rent and money to spend, you know, commute and whatnot. The hiring process will be different. People will they own their life differently. So I mean, it's just
that's true. Very true.
So I think this was step number one, just to create the schedules. Step number two, like getting your training on, it's really challenging because it doesn't matter. Like, you can tell me you're motivated and whatnot, but I mean, it doesn't matter. If you're training on your own, you really need extra motivation. Unless you're Matt Fraser, I mean, you need really extra motivation, because we always, like just today, today it was very bittersweet. I did a scaled version of Murph. But I mean, I really miss everyone because I always do Murph with friends. And I was like looking through my feed for all these memories of last year and the year before. I mean, it's never fun when you're doing it alone. So this is what's a challenge for me. I mean, last people may overlook this, but every one of us really need to take care of their mental health. So we really need to read about resilience, try to develop resilience, and try to remember that it doesn't matter how hard it is now. We've been through situations like this, and it's like, just like we say in Quebec, ça va bien aller. So it's gonna be better. You just need to really hang on and make the best out of it, because eventually, in a couple months, this will be over, and then you would be in one of two situations. You either made the best out of this and made some gains, mental, physical, family-wise, whatever, or you just let time pass. And I don't think anyone wants that to happen.
So if you had if you had some advice, you know, fitness advice or just general health advice, in a nutshell, for anybody who's watching right now, what would you like to tell them?
I would say that the pandemic has shown us that you really don't need a fancy gym equipment or, you know, machine to be fit or exercise. You get surprised. We got surprised by people who've never been even into a gym getting interested in doing stuff with the minimum equipment that we have. People doing thrusters with their flour bags, and people trying to swing around like jugs of milk instead of a kettlebell. So
anybody use the babies? Did you see if anyone was using their kids?
I hope no one did that.
Kettlebell with their kids.
Whoa, babies.
All right. So listen, where can people reach you if they'd like to get a hold of you and ask you questions?
Yeah. So I'm mostly fitness-wise. My channel for fitness mostly is on Instagram, bwisewolf, as it is. No spaces, no nothing, just bwisewolf. That's it. On Facebook, it's I mostly share all of the interesting things on Instagram, or on Facebook you can find me with my name, Bader S Masri. And I mean, if you're ever in the gym or you're in 819, just try to come say hi. Because if I'm not coaching, most of the time I'm joining a class or training.
All right, let me make sure I have this right here. That's right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So that's your Facebook, and this is your Instagram.
Yes.
All right. So, Bader, I'd really like to say thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you for having me.
I know that there's lots of people out there who've been watching, and love hearing some of your background and seeing that passion that you have, because you definitely have so much of that. And, you know, that there's going to be people who know you who've seen this, and there's going to be people who don't know you who've seen this. And so it's great for the gym. It's also great for the community at large to see passionate people talking about things that matter most to them, or other than family. their passions in life. And so I really appreciate you coming on and doing this with us. And I'll say goodbye to you for now. Okay. Stay safe. Stay well. Thank you. Bye. All right, everybody. So that was CrossFit 819 Shop Talk. I'm Shane Miller, your host. We've had Coach Cedric and Kim a couple weeks back. Milen was on last week. This week it was Coach Bader Masri. And next week we're going to be featuring another one of our coaches. So I hope that you will look for us next week and join us again. It was awesome. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.